Hey folks, welcome back to TIMBERBORN, and I have progressed the building of the base of our Sky City, but I was going to time-lapse it, but we have a log problem, as was clearly evident before we started this. I have cleared a bunch of this area, all of this area, and I've got a tubeway planned in to get more into here, but we are working over here now. We've got this bit cleared already, and tubeway is going in. Problem is we need planks to build the tubeways, so that we can get up to here, and this is quite a lot of logs, and that's hopefully gonna help. So we will get rid of a couple of these guys. So we do have the weird thing going on. Well, not necessarily weird. The lumberjacks make use of the tubeways to gain access to the trees, to cut them down. But we seem to have some weird stuff going on last time, where they were maybe cutting down trees that weren't marked. Let's not worry about that. Yeah, so we still have quite a lot of dead trees that we can make use of. So that's what we're gonna do. And as soon as we can, we've got 11 spare bots, but only one in this. We've got 9 spare beavers, so we can actually just throw a load of beavers at this job. And just try and rip through as many trees as possible. And eventually we'll want to regreen some of this area and regrow the trees, but for now we'll do what we can do. We've got 6 days left of the drought. We've got 20,000 water. We're absolutely fine there. The food situation is much better now. We could do with a bigger mangrove forest. I know some of you have been trying to get me to sort that for a while. I don't just want to expand. We could just blast this out and link this together, couldn't we? And hope that it doesn't screw up the fluid dynamics too much. We'd need to leave that bit to feed the water in. Yeah, screw it. Let's start that process, shall we? Why not? So we can now get into here, and as soon as we can, wood lumberjack. Start getting more lumberjacks up here. Gonna have to use beavers because we don't have any spare bots, so it's gonna slow things down a little bit, but we can just counter that by throwing in a whole load of them and making sure that I remember to prioritize them by haulers, because that way the haulers will come do the emptying and the beavers won't mess around with that, and that'll really help things out, I think. And if we just, what I'm going to do is just keep extending this way, because there's a lot of trees down here, and probably we can't really afford to be building more tubeway at the moment. So yeah, let's just keep throwing in lumberjacks, and we've got a positive number of logs, so that's a good thing. Yep, so we can blast all of that out now. We could probably demolish that and that before we blow those up, so get a bit more space. Yeah, and the reason that I'm spacing these lumberjacks out is purely to expand the region that they can get to. So, you know, it's a big area. We might as well make use of as much of it as possible. We've got a spare beaver now, so yeah. That guy can still reach a reasonable amount, so we'll let those work. This is progressing quite nicely. Let's work on this. They can't get to that, okay. And we can deal with that at another point. Yes, what we're going to need to do is and I'm kind of curious. Still a little bit of water because this is attached to the stream gauge in here, I think. If I remember rightly. Or is this completely dry? This is completely dry, okay. No, this is just run off of this stream gauge, so we will need to be dumping water. But what we're going to do next, and we probably will need to arrange access to this. How could we do that? We could do that by tiny tubeway station there, ladder there. That works. And then path all the way along there. And what we're going to do, because I don't want to get rid of this tubeway, is do that. And we can do that as well. And then what we could do is throw in another tiny tubeway there. Might make sense to move this so it's not in the river as much. Basically push it to the edge. That. How are we doing lumberjacking? We're doing good. We're doing good lumberjacking. We're up to 400 logs. That guy is done now. Go, just because I don't like those blockages particularly. No, not like that. Like that. There. Yep, you can stay as beaver. Prioritized by haulers. Cut trees. Mark all of those. Mark all of those. But we are pretty good for trees now, which is pretty good. Look at me. And we've got all of that platform built, which is probably why we're pretty good for trees now. So now what we need to do is work out how we get the water up there. And I guess step one is to put in the next layer of pumpage. So that's down 2. And our deep mechanical pump can pump 8, so we can go up 6 from there. Up it to there, I believe. Let's just pause. Actually, probably what we want to do. Those. Some 2s. Those, do they need to be that big? No, probably not. Probably do 3 buys. Big enough? Probably. No, we probably want those to be down a level. So probably what we want to do is why you should plan your builds, folks. 3 buys, and then maybe some levies. And then we put in the deep mechanical pump. Yeah. And if I put that all round there, then that's not big enough to actually pump any water out of. Actually, if we made it a little bit longer, we could have. Oh, it's just not quite enough. Oh, that's annoying. We could do it with, so yeah, we actually want 3, 4, 6s, I think. It's kind of amusing considering I said they were too big when I did 4s. Let's ignore physics. That. And then that. And that. And that. Permeable floor. The reason I'm not closing the side yet is I'm curious about whether we want to have reach. Don't tell me that doesn't reach. Don't tell me that doesn't reach. Oh, that's so annoying. I know what we can do. We can overcome that. I'm not sure if we want to double this. I mean, we've got the flexibility to change it anyway, so let's do that. And what we're going to do is delete that. And maybe that one. Come in here. That there. Deep mechanical pump. Bosh. that works. It's not the neatest in the world, is it? But, you know. Know by now how we do things here. Engineering, not architecture. We need to at least delete that one to create some sort of water area. I think we'll do. Yeah, let's delete that as well. That gives us an area we can put a few water pumps in. Kind of curious if that's going to overload the pumping capability of the deep mechanical pumps. Obviously, they need power. Hopefully that's obvious. No, I need to wait. No, because we don't have the power. There's probably a mod which would let us move power through the levee there, but I don't have it installed. And so we're going to just bring power up there. Go all the way up. That's actually not gonna completely work. Could come through that gap, maybe. Actually, can we do? No. Let's get rid of that. Get power to there. I don't want to. Could remove that block, I guess. Without it being a problem. Let's pause that. Right, let's let them get going on some of that stuff. And what we could do is bring power along there, up the back there. They can be paused. I pause the building of that one so they can get round to stuff. How are we doing with our lumberjacks? To be moved. Might as well move all of you. There is a bit of an argument for extending the tubeway, but that takes materials, so we're not going to do that. Just going to rely on the fact that it's not overly excessively far. Oh, cool. And what about our mangrove extension? Yeah, so let's just start removing the bits that we can't instantly get to easily. roughly like that. And that can go. That's all in. In fact, now they've done that. Can they still not get to that? Oh, because they have to be on top of it, don't they? Okay. I'm not worried about that for now. But now we can bend the mangrove field. Let's extend it to there. Yep. That'll do. Let's put in a ladder down to there, and then we can get rid of all of those. And throw in some pathage. I suspect that's why some of that's not been done. Recutting dudes are doing their thing. Right. Go to power, vertical power, power. Pause that one. I'm hoping that they can, probably building that from above, so that's all built. So let's unpause that. Now the back side of that is not built. Okay, that could be a problem. Let's just there. Let's just do that, and that should let them build that. All right, get that built. We probably want to build the back of this before we let this get built. Did I bad water? No, we just want water. That's going in there. That's all placed. I think that's further than I wanted. Yeah, let's get rid of that. I'm really hoping this doesn't screw up all of the fluid mechanics of the area. We're keeping a nice set of edges here to speed up the flow, so hopefully we'll be okay. I'll detonate it once the water's back. That's in, so they should now build these. Yep. So now I'm going to unpause that, which will connect to the power up then. And that'll be good. Should try and get this water source doing something useful. You know? It is what it is. Here it comes. So let's blast all of that out. Hopefully it doesn't mess things up too badly. And then we need an lumberjack. What I'm wondering is if we be a little bit sneaky. Yes, even. Don't know if this will work. Put it there. Turn that off. And then put platform. Go there. And then let's go find tubeway. And let's go ladder. Let's go ladder there. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Yep. Mangroves. Get them to plant what they can. And then what they can't, we'll let go naturally. Awesome. Right, that's doing that stuff. So suddenly that's too far. I think if I delete that, yep, they can then get to it. I think that's the easiest way to do that, and then we'll rebuild the water pump. You can actually make use of some of this huge power supply. Okay, what's going on there? Maybe mitigate that by closing that off. That'll be enough. Of a reduction in flow. I guess we did a lot of this. Yep, I'll do it. We did a lot of this when we weren't in wet season. And we gain a lot of extra flow because we get water source and stuff. Yeah, I think that's the first time we've had full potential flow through there. So, not really a surprise we had some issues. Anyway. This seems to be okay. Which is good. are we doing over here? They've cleared all of that. There are more trees up there. I'm kind of thinking that at this point it's getting a bit far. So maybe we need another extension to the tubeway. Actually, if I stick that there, put the tubeway on the end, I can probably save myself some materials for not a huge amount of loss of stuff. Oh, all of that one got built, okay. Those are marked to be cut. Aren't being cut. Maybe if I get rid of that, that's blocking them getting down to that next layer below. Yeah, get those cut down and then we'll get rid of this fork because we don't really need it anymore. Yeah, it'd be good to get more trees in here, more mangroves. I know a bunch of you have been telling me I need to do that for a while. So. There we go. Water, deep water pump. And we have our water supply up here. Probably going to move this, to be honest. Because if we want to extend things, that's not the best location in the world. So the next thing we're going to put in, just because of the time it's going to take, is the hydroponic gardens. And we're going to throw 12 of those in because 12 is a number. It's already, that is a statement, isn't it? 12 is a number. I might be tempted to do that. Or maybe even like that. Don't know why. Yes, it's probably going to trigger a bunch of you because it's very inefficient for resources. Quickly remind myself we can do fermented mushrooms really easily. Then I think we need the food factory and canola, so we need to grow some canola up here as well, but we can do that. Mushrooms. Let's do that many mushrooms. That algae. Yes, it would be interesting to see how that works for pumping. A water tank there. And definitely interesting to see how that all behaves. a similar vein, interesting to see how this all behaves. Right, I think that go. That path can go. Don't know if they can get under there to plant those. Like they can. Yep. So we're going to have quite a bit bigger mangrove swamp. Assuming we can keep it hydrated. So this is not quite high enough. So let's go 0.25. 5. Could maybe even go a little bit more. I'll be using any of it at the moment, but you know, not full yet. 0.97. Have I broken this? Yes. Yes, I have. What we do is unplant you, and as a matter of urgency, put back dirt. Hopefully that's filling up. Glad I spotted that. Right. So back over here, we now have the hydroponic gardens growing. It's a tank. Seems to be doing okay. I'm trying to think. I don't think I can look. Okay, so we can't go any higher than that. Fair enough. So what I think I want to do is actually move this to the side next to it. Just so that if in the future we want to expand the city, because I would, or the Sky City, because I would like to expand it over this, we're not suddenly having to move our entrance point. And that potentially cause complications. That can do that. That doesn't need to be there anymore. We farmed all of those trees, so we can start to recover that. You don't need to be there anymore. you don't need to be there anymore, so we might as well get rid of that bunch of unnecessary path. I'm hoping they can pick that up from there. Yeah. Don't need to be there. You don't need to be there. Should put plank storage up. We haven't recovered our log storage, but you know, la vie. What we can do now, let's be cautious and slow and boring. Right, the chaos of one Amazon delivery later. Let's continue. Prioritize building those bits. Could delete that, but you know, not really going to buy us a lot, so let's leave it. I had that set to be emptied because I thought this would be a good spot to make a new forest. Three. So if we go in the middle of that, we should be okay. If we go in the middle, we should be alright on that. So let's find the middle. Something like that. I guess worst case, we might be missing the edges. But we have been exhausting our log supply rather a lot, so, you know. Kind of seems like a good idea. Here, we can probably just delete all of that. Delete that one, because we've got a tubeway station there, so we can just come out and collect to those. I'm going to do a few more slowly, and then once we get here, we can probably speed that process up. Mangrove planting is done, so you can go away. We'll need to work out how we plant trees. I'm going to unmark. Tell them to plant oak trees in the water. That's a brilliant idea. No, we're going to unmark all of these so that whatever needs to can spread. Then we're going to need some gatherers eventually. Excellent. Right. And what I was going to do is that. And then a little bit of cheese. Cheese is nice. To do that. Right. That's built, so we can then recover that whole tower. And I think I want to put in some housing up here. Breeding pods. We're going to need to make extract, aren't we? We're going to need to grow berries. We're going to need to get bad water up here as well. Okay. That might be a challenge for next time, because my brain's a little bit tired today. If you hadn't noticed. Fluid dump. Re-engage. Forest start. Axe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Storage. Water. Okay. Attach to stream gauge. Above you, unpause below about you. Those may as well be paused. On a bunch of oak trees. And see what you can make grow. And because it takes ages to plant and new forest, we're going to stick one there as well, because it'll speed up the process. And that'll help. Right, so we have water. We have the start of food growing. Actually, we're not far off having mushrooms. So the next step would be processing those mushrooms. That means we need to get power into some food fermenters. Word's hard. I wonder if we bring another power line up. Actually, can't bring it up the back because we're right on the edge of the map. So come over the top of that. Do that. We can. Bear with me, folks. I never said this was going to be pretty. Let's delete that for now. bit back. That we can build from there once that's built. Actually, we could then put the fermenters up there, couldn't we? It'll let me. Well. Do them like that with a storage at the end. Like that. Actually, probably what we need to do is... No, because they might transfer. All the power transfer, I think, will happen anyway. So... let's try it. And just as a reminder, the plan is that this will eventually be self-sufficient. Self-sufficient as we can make it. Yes. Yeah. That done. Three numbers are more stable now, but you know, we may as well. Then I think we'll call it a day, folks, because I am kind of tired. There has been a lot of running this weekend. I meant to mention, so I am very curious about Bobbing About's new faction as well, the leaf coats. They look very cool. Kind of keen to have a look at them at some point. Yep, the houses are transferring power. Awesome. Do a small warehouse there for fermented mushrooms. And that gets us power into this area. What we might do is step the next layer of the city down a bit so that we can put in a farm. Yes. Yeah, because we can't put dirt on that. Or that. I think that was the highest we could put dirt, so... might be that we have to have the farm hanging off the side for the canola oil. But, folks, that is going to be it for today. Hope you have enjoyed the video. We have the start of the Sky Colony. I want to get a little bit more building done before we separate them off. But yeah, that's it for today. I will see you all next time.